What theories have influenced your personal philosophy of education?
My personal philosophy of education is a more student-centered approach. I take bits and pieces from John Dewey's progressivism and the hands-on learning that comes with it, because I think students need to do what they're being taught to actually learn what they're trying to do. And I also add that to George Count's social reconstructionism, because I believe that if students have hands-on working while they're in a social state, they can help with the problems in society in a hands-on way, so that they learn that they have their own say in society and how it works. And along with the hands-on learning comes Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences, with the kinesthetic learning and the naturalist view on learning, where you have to do something to learn it, or being in nature helps you learn about how everything was made and how it was created. So it's a personal philosophy that student-centered approaches really are the way of teaching.
Okay, so then, believing what you do about education, how do you see culture and gender differences in schools?
What I see with culture and gender differences is that everyone is different. It doesn't matter their culture or their gender. Everybody learns differently, and we shouldn't base how we teach them on their skin, their culture, on their gender. It doesn't matter, because you can have an African American boy and an Indonesian girl that learn the exact same way. So it really doesn't matter, but it matters that with all of these different cultures and these different genders, we're putting them all into the same system of learning and assuming that they're all going to learn the same thing. And that's not right. We should base our own teaching on how the student learns, so that they can best learn in their way, so that they have their views on the world based on what we've been teaching them.
So then, taking into account both your answers to the first two questions, how do you plan to use what you know in your future classroom?
I plan to learn from the past in education. I plan to study the history of education and learn what they did in the past and implement it to my future research, because everything's changing all the time. Psychology's changing, how students learn is changing, and therefore my theory of learning should change as well. So what I believe is that I'm going to progress forward with the new research and development. And in that, I'm going to implement the Socratic method not only in my classroom, but also in my own research, by asking myself questions based on what other people have asked, to see what I believe is the true answer for me, and what I want to implement to my students. And so with that, that's my personal philosophy on education. It's student-centered. It has to do with that specific student and how they learn, and what I can best do with the new research that I've been given and the old ways of teaching to implement their best success.